Is the relentless pace of modern life wearing you down to a state of burnout? Are the unfulfilling tasks that fill your days also widening the gap between what you want and what truly matters? Well, what if I told you that slowing down could actually be the antidote that will help you have more in your life? More joy, more connection, and more soul satisfaction. If this sounds good, then stay with me, because in this episode, I want to introduce you to an approach to life called slow living. I'll share where it originated, the benefits, and why I feel that it is one of the most positive life choices you'll ever make. Embracing the art of slow living isn't just a quiet rebellion. It's a transformational journey to a more conscious, purposeful, and fulfilling life. Hello and welcome back to the Discover Wellbeing Podcast. I'm your host, Allison Adams, a holistic health and leadership coach and consultant, helping you thrive in every area of your life. Let's start by defining slow living. Slow living is a lifestyle choice that promotes a slower approach to aspects of everyday life, whether you're at home or at work. It's about doing everything at a healthy pace, savoring the hours and the minutes rather than just counting them or wasting them. It's more than just a practice. Slow living is a philosophy and a pathway where you prioritize quality over speed and deep connections over quick interactions or mere transactions. You hear this all the time, that connection is the new currency and transactions are empty. They're like that sugar high that goes away and leaves you depleted. This approach isn't about doing everything at a snail's pace. It's about seeking to do everything with intention and giving each task or thing that you're focusing on the time that it deserves. As I was preparing for this episode, I needed to understand where slow living actually began. And believe it or not, the slow living movement had its roots in the slow food movement that started in Italy in the 1980s as a protest against the opening of a McDonald's in Rome. This movement aimed to preserve traditional and regional cuisine and advocated for a slower pace of life. It has since expanded into other areas of life, such as travel, education, even cities themselves. The philosophy behind slow living is about harnessing the ancient wisdom, quote, less is more, quote, slower is often better, in an age where speed and busyness are often seen as symbols of success. I know for myself, I used to live in that lane, and the more that I repatterned and created a pathway that allowed me to appreciate and do more things with intention, I found myself releasing all the things that I thought were so important. So why would you want to consider slow living? As I said, we live in a world that values quantity over quality, and slow living offers an antidote to the stress and disconnection of modern life. It allows for deeper engagements, more joy in everyday activities, and increased focus on relationships with self and others and the world around us. So adopting a slow living approach can lead to better health outcomes, reduced stress, greater appreciation, creativity, and all the little things in life that truly matter. It's a really subtle distinction, but it makes a big impact on our mind, body, and spirit. It's a step towards a more sustainable, regenerative lifestyle. That's why I love it. It's a conscious approach that respects our natural rhythms and the limits of our planet. I won't go into it in this podcast, but we, in our state of overconsumption, are oversourcing the planet. Our consumerism and all that is in production. We will get to a state where more companies adopt a circular economy, but for now we're depleting the planet and thus we're depleting ourselves. So what does slow living actually look like? Well, slow living can manifest in various ways. It's up to you, but it's about making more conscious choices, slowing down your pace, and really noticing what's going on in your world. Slow living doesn't mean living your life in slow motion. It's about finding a rhythm that suits your nature and being more deliberate in how you engage with your world, with your schedule, with your work. For this reason, I created a free guide called 7 Paths to Soulful Living, which I believe soulful is synonymous with slow living, where I break down the week and give you ideas for each day. I was inspired to write the guide after looking at ways that I could suggest to my clients that they change things up and how they can redesign their life by looking at the different areas of their life. So they're living life to reconnect with moments of joy, creativity, with friends, with family, and last but not least, with the world around them. Now I want to share ways that you can adopt and sustain a slow living lifestyle. To embrace slow living, the easiest place to start is by simplifying and/or designing your new schedule. It can be as simple as reprioritizing your commitments by focusing on what's truly important in the season of life. Now I want to share what it might look like to adopt and sustain a slow living lifestyle. To embrace slow living, the easiest place to start is by simplifying or redesigning your schedule. It can be as simple as reprioritizing your commitments by focusing on what's truly important and also looking at the season of life that you're in. What are the demands? What is life asking of you in this moment? You can choose one or more of the areas in your life that need attention and reevaluation to create more structure, where you need to let go, and where you're losing the greatest amount of your precious life force. Remember, where your attention goes, your energy goes. And this is actually what's causing so many people to feel burned out, because they're giving their precious life force away and they're not connecting with what actually refuels them. Your choices of creating rituals that are life-affirming and life-giving, that prioritize relaxation, rejuvenation, and reflection are key. And lastly, it's about learning to release the mindset of a culture of immediacy, of urgency and scarcity that leads to disconnection and burnout. It's all around us, so you have to really be mindful of where you're at and allow yourself the time to just be without constantly doing. As I say, slow living is a journey that nourishes the mind, body, and soul. Now let's look at mindfulness as it relates to slow living. Mindfulness is actually the foundation of slow living, anchoring us in the present and enriching our daily experiences. This practice isn't new. It traces back 2,500 years, rooted in the ancient Eastern traditions, primarily Buddhism. Mindfulness was cultivated as a path to enlightenment, a way to experience life directly and deeply, without the filters of bias and judgment. In the 20th century, it found a new resonance in the West, popularized by figures like Jon Kabat-Zinn, who founded the mindfulness-based stress reduction (MBSR) program. The fusion of ancient wisdom and modern psychology emphasizes being fully present and making conscious choices. By integrating mindfulness into our lives, we engage more deeply with the world around us and each other, making decisions that align with our deepest values rather than succumbing to the relentless pace set by society and systems at large. This mindful approach allows us to slow down naturally, embracing a rhythm of life that feels more authentic and fulfilling. Now let's look at slow living and the modern roots as it's connected to essentialism. In the book Essentialism by Greg McKeown, the core principle is about doing less but better. McKeown states that essentialism is not about how to get more things done, it's about how to get the right things done. It doesn't mean that you're doing less for the sake of less either. It's about making the wisest possible investment of your time and your energy in order to perform at your highest level, the highest point in which you're contributing by doing only what is essential. This philosophy aligns perfectly with slow living, encouraging us to focus on what's truly essential, stripping away what's not, to lead to a more aligned, balanced, and fulfilling life. That's my interpretation. And when we look at doing less but better, we're looking at performance. We're really just looking at how to do what we want at our highest level and staying on purpose. The result is going to be that we're feeling balanced, we're feeling authentic, we're feeling powerful and peaceful, and it results in just us feeling whole and fulfilled. Now, if this episode has inspired you to integrate slow living into your life, download my free guide to the 7 paths of soulful living. It's packed with insights and practical steps to help you and your loved ones embrace slow living. As I wrap up today's episode, remember that the journey to slow living is one that is uniquely yours. It's about finding balance, connection, and well-being in a world that often seems to prize speed over happiness. I hope this episode has inspired you to pause, to breathe, to reevaluate. The path that you're on and what you deem is deeper meaning in your life, deeper love, deeper joy, deeper creativity, deeper connection, all of that is waiting for you. And with that, I want to say thank you for listening, for joining me, and as always, much love. Stay well. Are you enjoying the Discover Wellbeing podcast? If so, I would love to hear about it. Leaving a review helps more people find us and really makes a difference. So share your thoughts on Apple Podcast or your favorite platform.